This popular film trope definitely gives us enough content for a second list. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for another top 10 ugly duckling transformations in movies. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at even more great makeover scenes and character transformations in film. Number 10. Marisa Ventura, Maid in Manhattan. Jennifer Lopez stars in this modern-day Cinderella story that is an amazing early aughts guilty pleasure. In Maid in Manhattan, Marisa Ventura works as a member of the staff at the Beresford Hotel, and a case of mistaken identity causes her to strike up a romance with a wealthy man. We finally get to see her ditch the dowdy maid's outfit at the end of the film when she gets dolled up to attend a party. The fact that this scene is set to Diana Ross's hit, "I'm Coming Out," only makes it all the more fun. Number 9. Sam Montgomery, A Cinderella Story. Hilary Duff does what she does best in A Cinderella Story, playing a totally awkward yet endearing teenager. In this rendition of the classic fairy tale, Sam wants to meet her online crush at a school dance, but isn't allowed to go by her evil stepmother.
I can't go.
What?
I don't have a costume.
But you will. Are you coming, Zorro?
She goes anyway with the help of her friends at the diner she works, sporting an old wedding dress and a masquerade mask that somehow completely obscure her identity from everyone she knows.
Don't you know who I am?
Of course I do. You're Princeton girl. You're the girl I've been waiting to meet. I know exactly who you are. What's your name?
Believable? Maybe not, but it's magical nonetheless.
Just another day that started out like any other. Just another girl who took my breath away.
Number 8. Vivian Ward, Pretty Woman.
Pretty woman, talk a while. Pretty woman, talk a while.
Let's be real. Julia Roberts is always gorgeous. But at the beginning of Pretty Woman, when she's in her street walking getup and a blonde wig, she definitely doesn't look her best. In one of the most satisfying scenes from this classic rom-com, we get to see her character Vivian go from underdressed to perfectly in style when she returns to that snobby Rodeo Drive shop to tell them what a huge mistake they've made.
I was in here yesterday. You wouldn't wait on me? Oh, you work on commission, right? Yes. Big mistake. Big. Huge.
The shopping montage that takes place before, set to the song that gives the movie its name, is beloved for good reason.
Pretty woman, walking down the street. Pretty woman, the kind I like to meet. Pretty woman.
Number 7. Danielle de Barbarac, Ever After.
A bird may love a fish, signore, but where would they live?
And I shall have to make you wings.
Another interpretation of the Cinderella story is this late 90s flick starring Drew Barrymore. Marketed as the supposedly real story behind the much-loved fairy tale, Ever After introduces us to Danielle de Barbarac, whose father has died and who has long been mistreated by her stepmother and stepsisters.
These are my mother's. Yes, and she's dead.
At the beginning of the film, she dresses like a common servant, but when the time comes for the big ball, she pulls out all the stops and looks absolutely ethereal in a white dress and a pair of fairy wings. Number 6. Joe Stockton, Funny Face. One of the greatest fashion movies of all time, Funny Face lets audiences see Audrey Hepburn decked out in Givenchy for the duration of the film. The movie tells the story of an intellectual bookstore employee, Joe, played by Hepburn, who is discovered by a fashion photographer and brought to Paris to work on his new campaign. Jo is subtly elegant at the beginning of the film, but seeing her dressed up in the Parisian high fashions is pure eye candy that we just can't get enough of. Number 5. Annabelle Fritton, St. Trinian's.
What are you going to do to me?
Give you a makeover, silly.
Annabelle doesn't quite fit in at St. Trinian's, a school for wayward girls, because of her somewhat prissy attitude. So it comes as no surprise that her classmates kidnap her in the middle of the night to give her a new look that will fit the school's aesthetic a little bit more. The audience gets to see each different clique trying out a makeover style for her, and the one that they settle on is sexy, cute, and a little bit edgy. Yes, Annabelle was beautiful before, but she's got a lot more spunk after.
How'd you feel?
Like St. Trinian.
Number 4. Katie Simpson. She's out of control.
How do they feel, Katie?
When 15-year-old Katie's father leaves on a business trip, her typical look involves Coke bottle glasses, braces, and frumpy clothing. When he gets back, however, his girlfriend has helped Katie transform into a full beauty, who ends up causing trouble because she has all the boys in town in a frenzy.
With all the charms of you.
This movie may not have done well with the critics, with the legendary Roger Ebert particularly panning it, but we still love this transformation, even if Katie's father doesn't.
Isn't she beautiful, Doug? Doug?
Number 3. Charlotte Vale, now Voyager. Betty Davis is one of the greatest iconic Hollywood stars, but you'd barely recognize her at the beginning of this 1942 film. She plays Charlotte Vale, an unattractive spinster who is abused by her mother, and because of her emotional distress, looks about twice her age. After spending time away from her family home at a sanitarium, and then on a cruise, she manages to flourish and returns looking completely unrecognizable. Her eyebrows alone are a before and after that would be inspirational to anyone. Number 2. Allison Reynolds, The Breakfast Club. One of the most iconic movies of the 80s also happens to feature one of the best makeovers in movie history. At the beginning of The Breakfast Club, Allison is the awkward and weird girl who is shown in sharp contrast to the pretty and popular Claire, played by Molly Ringwald. After spending their detention together, though, the two girls bond, and Claire gives Allison a completely transformative makeover.
Why are you being so nice to me? Because you're letting me?
She may not quite look like herself, but it really goes to show what a little bit of makeup can do. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
I'll be your pussycat licking your milk right now. Down, down, down.
Look, Gaston. 4 yards of material in a skirt. Well, total of great ladies.
Kiss me out of the bearded barley. Beside the green, green grass.
Number 1. Fran, Strictly Ballroom. Baz Luhrmann's amazing debut may not be as well known as its successors, but that doesn't mean it should be overlooked. This charming film focuses on the Australian ballroom dancing world, and in a plot somewhat similar to the classic Dirty Dancing, an experienced male dancer finds himself taking on a raw beginner to be his partner.
You're calling to me. I can't hear what you've said.
Fran is the baby of the story, and when we first meet her, she's one of the most awkward characters to ever grace our screens.
Hi, Liz, I thought you should have won.
Come all the way down from the big smoke.
By the end of the film, though, she really comes into her own and shows an elegance and poise we never could have imagined. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.